Hello, everyone. Welcome to Not a Scratch, the only podcast that believes that Scratch is an overpowered move. I am your host, your PM, your DM, your GM, Anirudh himself, and this is just a quick little intro. Thank you so much for sticking with us all this time. I know that the past couple of months have been sort of not great when it comes to consistent episodes, but that's that's what happens when the things get in the way. If you want more information on that, there's a little episode previous to this one that has more information on where we've been and all that sort of stuff. But this is the Arc 3 Q&A episode. We finally got that done. It was streamed on Twitch a few weeks ago from when this is being recorded. So you could follow us on Twitch if you feel like doing that. Hopefully we'll be able to get back into doing streams and other things like that in the future. We did our Arc 3 Q&A, answering a bunch of questions that we had. You'll notice a theme of food. Not sure why that's the case. We didn't record at any particular meal time, but that seemed to be the case. Anyway, we go through and answer a bunch of questions from Arc 3, as well as sort of clarifying some aspects of other episodes and previous stuff as well. So, big warning, of course, spoilers are a thing. And seeing as this is a Q&A, you want to watch out for that if you haven't seen all of Arc 3 already. Hopefully the summary episodes for the future arcs are going to be coming up soon. Arc 4 is just a couple weeks away. I'm saying this hesitantly because I'm not 100% sure. It all really depends on how much time I have to create the summary episodes and everything like that. But if all goes well, Arc 4 should be coming out pretty soon. So without further ado, we're just going to go straight into the Twitch live stream of it. So you'll see the voices change and everyone pop in momentarily. One more thing, of course, big shout out to Glitch X City for the ambient music in the background here. This is the 1 hour lo-fi remix on Glitch X City's channel, so go and check them out if you haven't already, because if you haven't, you're missing out. I'm just telling you, they make great music. So without further ado, I think we can begin. Cool. Past me, take it away. This is the point where I stopped, so I should probably just stop. Okay, bye. Either way. Anyway, thank you very much for following the channel. I'm glad to see that we are back. Also, how does it feel listening to us again? Hey, it's been a minute.
It has been a really hot minute.
For you guys,
a little bit longer than a minute, but
for all of y'all, I did post a little thing a couple days ago, like, hey, we're alive, we're well, and I'm dusting everything off. But and then the people on the show, we've talked to each other relatively recently. But for all of y'all, you haven't heard my voice outside of the extra episode for a while, and then you haven't heard theirs in even longer. So, how's it going? It's all good, friend. It's all good. Thanks for popping in all the same. Speaking of, let's officially get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Not a Scratch, the only podcast that believes that Scratch is an overpowered move. I am your host, your PM, your DM, your GM, Andrew himself, and with me here, listening to a random Taylor Swift album that I'm totally staring at right now.
It's me, Mansour. I don't listen to Taylor Swift.
Specifically Reputation.
I'm here with somebody who has a tier list of every tier list ever.
It's me, Muhammad. Believe me, there are some real D tier and F tier lists out there, and I would highly avoid those tier lists if I were you.
So, hey, remember Arc 3? That was a thing. That was a thing.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, little tidbit for everyone listening, it has been about half a year since we finished recording that. So
you're serious? Oh wait, you're right. Yeah, because we finished recording it like back in June,
like February or March.
I don't think it was that long.
No, it was like April, I think.
I don't know if it was end of March, start of April. I was slightly exaggerating, but like it has been a long time.
It's been a while.
Isn't it that we finished recording Arc 3 like right before Final started, and then we were like, oh yeah, stick it.
No, we finished we had like the last like month and a half of this semester that we did not record. We stopped recording in like March or April.
Yeah, that sounds because we really tried to pile up on the episodes so that we had this timeline in of like, oh, we'd be done by July or something like that. Well, that didn't happen because then they took a break for semester-related stuff like education, and then right when things were getting back to normal, I took a break. which fit in perfectly. And here we are with a random episode just getting tossed out whenever. Maybe it's fixed now? I say hesitantly. We'll see.
It'll probably be touch and go for a bit, considering all of us have various real life transitions that are happening in terms of moving
Mansour just died
and
on stream. That's great.
Business money.
yes.
That's the greatest part of the last couple of episodes.
If you remember that, then
Money.
you're a real one.
But we are here. We are live on Twitch right now. If you're listening to this after the fact, sorry this is terribly edited and or done. But Q&A sessions are always live on Twitch. You can check that out. The channel is The Adoran Region. Alternatively, you can look up Adoran Region, just straight up, because that might help you search for it. There are people in the chat. Say hi, chat.
Hi, chat.
See, it's funny because I can say that now, and there's going to be the 15-second delay. So
That's true.
There we go. We got Eli.
There it is. We got two
Hey,
eyes.
how's it going? So we're going to do the Q&A for Arc 3. Feel free at any point to toss in questions you've got in the stream chat on Discord, specifically at the GM's office, because that's where I'm looking right now. I'm going to designate Mansour to look at the chat if questions pop up there, because I probably won't be. And he's able to look at the chat now. We've given him permission. This isn't a Pokemon adventure, and so he's allowed to look at the chat.
I still have to finish my Emerald playthrough. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time for a lot of stuff. But we are here, we are live, we are active, and we are going to go through the questions. Is there anything we need to mention before getting started?
Arc 4 in progress.
Arc 4 is in progress. I've mentioned previously to the Discord and anyone that listened to the most recent update episode, Arc 4 is just stupid. What we've recorded for so far makes no sense whatsoever.
If you thought the first 3, technically 4 arcs of the show was wild, that pales in comparison.
It's a train wreck.
And we're only a few episodes in.
I think we've done 3 episodes.
We have done 3 episodes of Arc 4, and it is already a mess.
And pick a person to blame, because it's all of our fault.
We may have collectively just completely ruined the universe in terms of there's going to be irreparable damage. But
yeah, I can point at all of us and say, because of this decision that you made, pointing at one of the 3 of us, this entire universe is completely screwed up.
What? Me? No.
See, that's a sign. The question is not which one of us screwed it up. It's either which one of us screwed it up worse, or which one of us screwed it up first.
Good point.
A question that
I
have to wait.
I can answer first in the next Q&A. There's a clear answer for first.
But yeah, so again, if you're in the chat, toss it in the chat. It's all cool. I'm looking on the Discord. I also want to mention this now, because I don't think this will last as long as it is. But Patreon, that's a thing we have. If you feel like donating, is it donating? Being a patron? Supporting us on Patreon? Feel free. Due to a frankly, and I've told them this, stupid donation, we are now over our $50 tier per month, which is dumb. You're ridiculous. Pure Glaceon, I'm gonna shout you out here. You're dumb, okay? You're dumb. You're dumb. I love you. I appreciate you, but you're stupid.
So mean.
Okay.
So mean.
Anyway, because of this, we have a lot of things that we've unlocked that'll be happening in the future. I haven't even finished the website because of real world stuff. So that was the first tier from 1992 that we unlocked through natural means. By the way, before we continue on, Pure Glaceon, I do sincerely appreciate you, and I don't want this to be like, oh, he actually hates my guts or anything like that. I do really, really, really appreciate it. But with that said, I don't know if that was the best decision financially. Anyway, I need to go through. I don't even remember what the tiers were. All right, let's see here. We got the first tier, which we did covering the cost of the website. The website's being constructed. That's in progress. Probably more progress now than later. I promise it will come out eventually. The $25 tier. Reaching this goal will allow us to get started on upgrading our logo design. So we're actually getting a new logo, or at least an alternative logo. Because this logo, I'm gonna be honest, I threw this together in Paint in about 15 minutes, and while I appreciate all the love that it has, it doesn't deserve it. So, also beginning the process of podcast specific merch. What that is, I don't know. But that's
we'll take it one step at a time.
we'll think about making merch. How's that?
Yeah, but
$50
things are in the works, which is,
by definition,
things are happening. Yeah.
Eli, I appreciate the confidence about the logo, but I do not trust myself with artistic decisions. Plus, the logo does use intellectual property of a certain company that we may or may not be basing this podcast off of, so the faster we can get it upgraded, the better. The $50 tier, reaching this goal means we can commission art, so get ready for that, because we're going to have art of, like, fancy moments. Remember way back when what was it? When Ralph suplexed Kyle over a table, we might get art for that. That's a thing. So commission arts, that'll be a thing popping up in the future. And then finally, the big tier, $200 a month. This is gigantic and creating an actual system itself. We are a fourth of the way there, and there might be other tier goals that come in between if I think of anything. But for now, that's sort of like the end-all be-all type goal.
And by creating the system, we mean like fully publishing, like, a handbook,
full-fledged book, and maybe some like what does D&D do with their stuff, like sample adventures and stuff like that.
Like what's it called in D&D? The monster guide, monster manual, like.
Yeah.
There's a monster manual. There's a dungeon master's guide.
Everything you would need to basically play with the system that this show is basically just playtesting.
Correct. Yep. I need to change it on Patreon as well. The way that I have it listed right here is that those supporting us on a tier and higher will receive a copy of the game for free. That's not true. I think I'm just going to make the entire system thing free. They'll probably get like a already made like game. Does that make sense? Like a storyline, whatever those are called.
Campaign.
The campaign. Yeah, they'll probably have a campaign set up at least, because
I
don't want to put the system behind the paywall, because that seems wrong. Plus, you guys probably get better with it than I am. So.
I'm with you on that.
What's it called? Like for D&D, there's like the Lost Mine of Fendelver. That's like the first. It's supposed to be like an intro, like easy-ish campaign. Well, like first getting into D&D, so I would just imagine something like that.
Yeah. We got a bunch of suggestions for art. Honestly speaking, if you want to toss these into Kyle's studio on the Discord, I'll note them down. We have a suggestion for the beach courtroom scene. Oh, that would be cool. Art for the O moment.
Oh, brother. Oh my god.
Oh, brother.
It's so long ago.
Something in the back of my head was like, I think that moment is probably the one people want to see the most. So.
I could see that.
You freaks. I'm kidding.
All right. But we've stalled for long enough again. Thank you very much if you're supporting us on Patreon. If you're not, that's absolutely fine. It's not hurting us by the least. We love doing this show, and I'm the one doing it for free the most, I guess. So I've done it for free for this long. I can do it for free for longer. But support is always nice. Anyway, I'm gonna scroll down here and just try to find questions. As I don't know what we have Muhammad, I think, doing construction work.
Yeah, no, I am in a very precarious situation. For people listening, I have just moved into a new apartment and it is empty, and I have like a very noisy air mattress. So that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. By the time we start, I say by the time we start recording episodes, when we record actual Arc 4 episodes, it will not be this noisy, but gotta make do with what we have.
All right, let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go with the first question we've got here from Eli. This is sort of an editing question. How often do you actually edit out things that you say you'll edit out when you're recording? Not often. There are way too many instances where I say, no, don't worry, we'll cut this out, and then we don't cut it out. Yeah. Yeah,
whenever I usually don't get to listen to the episodes back once they're edited and published. But as we're going, anytime I say oh, let's maybe cut this out or edit this out, or anytime I throw out something like that, in the back of my head, I know it's not going to happen.
I think it depends on who. I think if you guys say cut this out, I'm more likely to cut it out than if I say I cut it out. Because if you cut it out, I assume you have some reason for it, and then generally cut it out. If I have it, then I come back to it with a different perspective a few months later when actually editing, and then think like, okay, is this actually as dangerous of a topic to be in as I think it was at the moment?
Yeah.
There's like a joke, it's like an observational joke, but it's like, what is an editor's least favorite sentence? And it's, we'll fix it in post.
Here. Let's see.
In terms of editorial stuff, while you're looking for the next question, I feel like us as players, the editorial input we have isn't more in cutting as more adding. The number of things I've gotten to add in post has been beautiful.
Wow, TFTI.
Hey, listen, you hear me say during recording sessions, hey, like future Anirudh, like do this and that. You could hop on the wave.
I could.
Wow, voice crack.
No, yeah, I am not one to talk. I barely even respond to our group chat, so as it is.
Well, I'm going through trying to scroll through because I've done a poor job of keeping GM's office.
So there are 2 questions in the chat right now. I can just read one, if you would like me to.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Has the cast listened to the extra episodes, like the anniversary ones and the Halloween?
I can confirm I have, shockingly.
I've been meaning to. Life has been pretty crazy lately. I have them like downloaded on my phone. I just have not gotten around to them. I definitely would love to though, especially since we've gotten to a point where they're not going to really. Most of them won't spoil anything for me, anyways. But in terms of the context that they give now, won't really affect the gameplay moving forward. So,
yeah,
at least as far as I know.
I was listening to. I started listening to the Halloween one with like our call out with Chaotic Pod. I think it was correct. It was Chaotic Pod and a bunch of people. If I'm not mistaken. Anirudh, fact check me, please.
It was Chaotic Pod and Two's Company. Which, speaking of,
right,
I'll throw this in there. On Two's Company, on Jonah's new adventure through the Wandering Home system, my episode just recently came out. So if you want to check that out, you can.
But yeah, I started listening to that one
9 years ago.
I started listening to that one, and I got as far as like the characters introducing themselves, and then I fell asleep. True story. So
wow. Not a dig. And I thought I was disrespectful, but
not a dig on the quality of the people collaborating or the editing or anything like that at all. It was
you have just ruined Utter's ties for the rest of the Pokemon
No. It was very late at night. It was in the middle of a semester. I'm a very tired student, and I just could not bear to stay awake. I'll stop talking now.
I'm a very tired student, says the one who routinely stays up until 3 a.m. with no problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm tired.
Perfect. But yeah,
I would like to listen to them when I get the chance.
Listen to this show. This show is kind of weird that there's all this sort of other stuff. But yeah, anniversary episode, Halloween episode, definitely gonna get back to doing those as well. I have a few ideas in mind. That's a cool thing about taking breaks, is that that's when you get the best ideas and then can't act on them because, you know, I'm a real genius like that, he says, started punching a pillow.
Getting roasted in the chat right now. This is great. I have another question from the chat if you would like me to read it as well.
Yeah, go for it. I'm still scrolling through.
So Pure Glaceon asks, how do you make the best grilled cheese?
We're gonna get into a fight, I think. Somebody somewhere is gonna get into a fight over one of the 3 answers that we'll have, assuming they're different.
So my family didn't really like make grilled cheeses growing up because we're not white. But
Whoa.
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 It's just look, it's just not a part of our culture. Like grilled cheese is just not like the go-to snack. But there is, so my family did do this thing, and I don't think it's rooted in any kind of culture. I think it's just we're weird. So what we did is that we took pita bread, and then
I can already see where this is going.
Okay, listen. We take this pita bread, we rip it in half, and then we put cheese in there. Now, the specific kind of cheese, I think we most commonly used either Egyptian Rumi cheese, which is really good in my opinion, or Kashkaval cheese, which I believe is Albanian. Where is that from? Bosnian, maybe? Kashkaval cheese. I'm looking this up right now. I'm sorry. It's an Albanian / Bulgarian, North Macedonia, Serbia, the Balkans, right? Yeah,
it's a Balkan cheese.
Yeah, it's a Balkan cheese, but it's probably my favorite cheese of all time, but it's very rare. In any case, put one of those cheeses in the little pocket of pita, and you toss it in the oven, and you put it on broil for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then when you open that oven, you get like this crunchy, like like pita chip. If you've had pita chips, it's the same texture. You get this like crunchy pita bread, and you get this like gooey, cheesy interior. That was my favorite. Like growing up, that's beautiful. Like you could not make me happier as a child. Yeah, that's how I did. Pure Glitchon says in the chat, I said grilled cheese, not baked cheese. Listen, it's delicious, and you should try it.
That is almost exactly the opposite of the appeal of grilled cheese.
But I like it so much.
But okay, no. Like you are entitled to your own taste. That's fine.
You're entitled to your wrong takes. Thank you.
I'm not gonna say it's wrong. I mean, my family's done some weird stuff with food, but the best way. I think an underrated tool for making grilled cheese is a toaster oven. Absolute game changer.
I could see that. Yeah.
Is a toaster oven the same thing as an air fryer? Or
no, not at all. Oh my goodness, no.
No, you see, an air fryer.
Okay, that toaster oven is what they use at Subway. Okay, never mind. I'm done.
Oh my goodness. What are we gonna do with this child?
We always get one comment.
Pure Glitchon said I said grilled cheese, not toasted cheese. We got a stickler in the crowd.
Okay, so what I do is I get my barbecue grill that I totally own, and I put the cheese on there first because that's what you're supposed to do. And then once the cheese melts into the into basically the underneath section of the grill where the charcoal is, that's when I scrape it out and put it on top of 2 slices of different styles of bread. Okay, it doesn't matter which ones, but they cannot be the same. And afterwards, you throw it to the crows because that's who'll eat it.
I appreciate the fact that you're using a charcoal grill and not a propane, like a gas grill here, because it really adds like that extra flavor to it. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because I don't own that stuff. I don't grill stuff. Being vegetarian, there's not exactly a lot of instances where you'd be making a barbecue.
Glacian is yelling, not barbecue cheese, grilled cheese.
I'm gonna look this up. How do you make grilled cheese?
I think the idea is stuff? Like you have like a griddle or like something else of that nature that you're like throwing on the stove and making a grilled cheese that way, which is the proper way to make a grilled cheese. But
correct.
There's
this Amazon
what
ad.
Is a grill?
There's an ad where what's it called? Like where it's for Amazon Alexa, but the ad premise is like Alexa loses her voice. It might have been a Super Bowl ad.
That sounds familiar.
But Alexa loses her voice, and so they're trying to like fill in like different celebrities like to be the voice of Alexa, and one of them they pick Gordon Ramsay, and so one of them's like, Alexa, how do you make a grilled cheese? And it's like, what? It's a grilled cheese. It's in the name. How stupid are you? And he's like in the middle of working out.
Do you want me to pull up the definition of the word grilled? Sure. That might help me answer my question. My answer, by the way, will not suffice your stringent category here. So the way I make grilled cheese, I eat a grilled cheese sandwich for breakfast in the morning because that is the only way I will have something other than milk for breakfast, like to have the calories necessary. So the way that I do it is very, very basic, and usually because I'm 5 minutes away from heading into work. So I toast the bread. After toasting the bread, put the slice of cheese in between there, microwave that, then it's good enough.
The old dorm room grilled cheese.
The old, I gotta go to work real quick, cheese.
I've had a fair few of those minus the toasting, and when you graduate from that, it's a beautiful time.
I'm a slow kid.
So based on the definition of grill that someone just posted in the chat, I will satisfy this. How to make a pure grilled cheese. You take your slice of cheese, right? You put it in between 2 halves of a loaf of bread. Then you put it in between 2 slices of bread. 2 slices of bread. Please excuse me.
Yeah, here.
Preferably
and then
the 2 end pieces of the loaf.
You take it to the nearest police precinct. Hear me out. You take it to the nearest police precinct. And then you frame it for some crime that it didn't commit, right? They take this creation, they have this cheese and the bread. And now it's not grilled yet. It's just assembled. They take it into the interrogation room and they do the good cop, bad cop routine. And the good cop is really trying to get the confession out of this cheese and 2 slices of bread, and the bad cop starts intensely questioning it. And now another way of saying intensely questioning something is by saying that you're grilling it. So that's how you get a grilled cheese, after it's been intensely questioned.
Now,
happy?
Okay.
This is the answer I was looking for. Good job, guys.
Next question.
Boom, I win.
Next question. Game over. Great. Next question. Help. All right, let's see. Let's see. Grilled cheese. I'm just scrolling through the chat right now, trying to see if either of us missed a question. Grilled cheese. Lots of comments about cheese. What the definition of grill is. Talking about butter. Butter's always a good thing. I generally don't use a lot of butter in stuff that I make, but for grilled cheese, I can definitely see that. Anyway, let's go back to the show, because that was a thing that we did.
I like these questions. These are fun.
I enjoy these questions, but also I'm terrified of the answers. Let's see, question for me in the Q&A. You said in the first Q&A that the train bombing was actually really important and had a reason. So what was the deal with it? And the answer is, I can't tell you. There is an importance to it, and I figured out the answer of that somewhere between Arc 1 and Arc 2, I think. And I just haven't had a time to spring it on.
You've just had it in your back pocket this whole time.
It's just been sitting there.
Nice. I'm not at all terrified, especially considering the direction Arc 4 is already headed. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
I can guarantee you that there will be an answer by the end of the show. Actually, no, I can't even guarantee that, because these guys have a habit of following a path and then deciding, you know what about this yellow brick road? Why should we follow that?
Just
Let's go through the grass.
Every RPG ever.
So there is a reason for it. It's semi-important. Hopefully I didn't say it was really important, because as time has gone on, I've noticed that its importance is decreasing significantly. But
no, it's not that its importance has decreased significantly. It's just that the scale has been completely shifted.
That's also true. This was a podcast about your stereotypical train bombings, and now it's turned into a worldwide life or death affair.
Sorry, what does a stereotypical train bombing look like?
You know, your normal, like, Batman villain type thing. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You know, no one has superpowers in Batman. Very few people have superpowers in Batman.
Alright.
Then, you know, it's always like there's logic behind it. Like, Bane has the effectively, like, the liquid steroids, and Joker is Joker, and the Riddler asks questions. You know, it's not like Superman, where it's like ancient aliens from outer space trying to control the universe. You know, it went from Batman villain level to Superman villain level,
I see what you mean. Okay.
where things just make no sense anymore. I'm just rambling at this point. Next question. Apparently Pure Glaceon has been wanting to ask this grilled cheese question since July 31st. So, fun.
That is a long time.
Because they tossed that into the Discord. And for a personal question, what is everyone's favorite breakfast food from Eli again? I think I answered that. I think the grilled cheese. Only because that's what I've been having relatively recently for breakfast, and I'm able to stomach that. Like, I no longer can eat cereal regularly or waffles, pancakes, stuff like that. I think, honestly, a grilled cheese sandwich is the way to go. But that's the wrong answer, so y'all, you have better answers?
So I think for me, it depends very much on context, right? Like, if I'm just, you know, having breakfast, like, on a normal day, like, I've got my 9-to-5 job, and I don't have time to make, like, a big goal, you know, continental breakfast. For me, all reliable cereal. I am a big cereal fiend. I love cereal. Specifically, my favorite cereal is Honey Bunches of Oats.
I just got some today.
Best cereal. It's great. It doesn't make you feel gross. It's healthy-ish, and it tastes delicious, and it's crunchy, and it doesn't get too soggy. Like, it's great. So cereal is like my number one for me. Shortly after Honey Bunches is like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's like if I just want to feel like I'm a 12-year-old. And then after that's probably like Honey Nut Cheerios. I'm a pretty big fan of those. Reese's Puffs is also very much up there for me. But if I'm like at a hotel, for example, and like, you know, basically all the stereotypical breakfast foods are out on the table, usually what I will stack up on are like waffles. I absolutely love waffles so much, with honey, not with syrup. I'm a honey over syrup kind of guy. Waffles and sausage. I love sausage so much. But yeah, so those two usually be the ones that like I'll stack up on a lot.
I really had to hold my tongue for the O there. Anyways, yeah, I've got a less in-depth answer. Give me a good egg sandwich and I'm happy. An egg sandwich on a bagel is always solid. Or a bagel with cream cheese. Either or.
Preach. Yeah, I think if I go to like a Dunkin' Donuts or something, like my go-to is like an egg sandwich as well.
Why are you getting an egg sandwich at Dunkin'?
Or an egg and cheese.
No, but why?
What do you mean,
get
why?
A donut.
No, but for breakfast.
Yeah, get a donut.
No,
that
that's
hurts
not
my
healthy.
head just thinking about that.
It's not healthy.
You chose to go to Dunkin'. That's on you.
If I want a healthy option, egg and cheese on a bagel, or bagels are also really good. Hold on.
Here we go. Another 5 minutes of deliberation on
Yeah, which breakfast food is
I know
the
I'm
best?
titling this arc through Q&A.
It's just
like,
that I'm a
breakfast
New
talk.
Yorker. I'm a New Yorker, so I have to love my bagel with cream cheese. So I don't know. I think my first answer still stands. It's the one that my gut said. But some of my other favorites: bagels with cream cheese.
I'm
I
sorry,
also
if you
I also
ask
really like
favorites,
I also really like banana nut muffins. Those are really good. All right, I'm done.
what is your favorite breakfast food? Singular lists every breakfast food under the sun.
I didn't mention pancakes. I didn't mention eggs on their own. I didn't mention salami. Oh, that's more of a lunch meat.
Oh,
That's more of a lunch meat.
bro,
Um,
I'm very tempted to just let him keep digging it like that hole underneath him.
I didn't mention
He's about
just like a straight up banana.
He is
Although
about to
those are
say
good.
his favorite breakfast food is oysters.
No.
Whoa. What?
He's
What?
only a few steps away.
What?
He already said salami. He's moving. He's
Wait,
moving
this
down.
is home. There's one more category.
Oh god.
Home breakfast. Like when I'm at home and
Home
my
breakfast.
parents are making breakfast, my absolute favorite breakfast food that I will fiend for every single time is there's an Egyptian variant of pastrami and it's called basturma. And it's like you just make that with eggs. Oh, please! Like I will eat that. So I will eat so much of that until I'm like absolutely full.
I just need to ask this before we move on to the next question. Have you not eaten in like 3 days?
So
Last time I had a meal.
no, I've eaten.
was
I've
August
eaten.
14th.
I've eaten in the past 3 days, but for breakfast, the only for the past week, the only breakfast that I've had have been like the Bavita's like breakfast biscuits. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I know.
because I just
Get
have
a
not
Clif
had
Bar.
time to like actually sit down and make myself like a bowl of cereal. Like I've been very rushed for the past 2 weeks.
At the very least, pop by the convenience store and get yourself like a Cliff Bar or something. Get a slight level up going.
Nah.
Fair enough.
All right. Next question from Rigel, and this is actually I should have mentioned this, even though we haven't actually touched on anything important. Spoilers, unsurprisingly, for the end of Arc 3. We haven't actually done a question that has anything to do with Arc 3 yet, but there is spoilers in this. Y'all know. Okay, anyway. Speaking of spoiler, actual question from Rigel. And this is an interesting question. Did something happen between Kyle's parents and Ralph's mom? Considering they were all such good chums in college, one would expect them to stay in contact, especially when they live in the same city. But that kind of contradicts with the beginning of the show where Kyle and Ralph don't really know each other other than the, oh yeah, that guy exists, I think. This could be a loophole, but there's also potential answers. Now, I don't want to touch this because this is too close to their characters, and I would prefer if they made this up as opposed to me making up, because while they are NPCs, their characters are very based on our player characters. So do you guys have a reason for this? I wasn't planning on creating one, just kind of having this sit out there and let people assume what they want. But if you guys have an answer in mind that you can think of, you can put that down.
So I forget the exact phrasing of it, but from what I remember, all we saw was like a photo, like a college photo of like a group of people together, right?
True. I think
It was
I
like
think
a
the way
class photo or like
yeah.
something like that.
Right.
It was like a class photo, but I think Sendoran knew all of them, so he was.
Yes.
You could assume. I don't think this would necessarily be the case, but you could assume he was almost like the middleman friend of like, I'm friends with you, you're friends with them, therefore I'm friends with.
Yeah,
those guys,
what I kind of thought was the case is that it was like a class photo, and like they specifically didn't like know each other with a capital K. You know, they just they knew of each other. They were like, oh yeah, like those are the two Groviles that are dating each other. But like, it's not, or Septiles. I forget what stage of evolution they were at. But point being, like, it's like, oh yeah, like I know kind of who they are, but like I haven't had like a deep level 3 conversation with them, like that kind of thing.
Well, I don't remember exactly the wording that was used when we were, because again, this was so long ago. When, like, we were kind of going through, I don't remember if, Sindor and I said, like, oh yeah, like, they were, like, really close friends or whatnot.
No, he didn't specify that, at least.
Did or
it's
did
just,
not?
I knew them, I knew them,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
conversation here, yeah.
Yeah. That's something we haven't really thought about, or at least I haven't really thought about. In my head, it's kind of just more of, it's the kind of thing where, it's something that we did not know when we were, making the characters. It's just we're kind of discovering things as we go. I'm sure if it ends up becoming relevant, we can retrofit some backstory to it. But as of now, there is none.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think this podcast is very heavily based on the idea of improv, in the sense of like, when something is said, it is now law. Sort of in the improv style of, when something is brought into this world, that is now fact, whether or we try as hard as possible to make this fact. So bringing them in a class photo thing was an idea that I had that would just be sort of interesting. Like, hey, everyone's connected in this sort of weird way. The world is not as big as it actually is, which in a sense is sort of like the actual Pokemon games. Like, the Pokemon games seem so expansive, and then you look at the population of each region, and it's in the like low hundreds, in like the 200, 300 range for the region, which sounds weird because it's technically its own country, but with a population the size of the smallest village in the U.S. or something. So,
well, at least in the games, that is the case.
Yeah, exactly. So same sort of idea is sort of implied here. Like, even in the very beginning, and I sort of regret doing this, in the very beginning of the intro section, where I say we're in Thunder Tree City with over 100 Pokemon. It's one of the largest cities in the region, and I think that sort of put an anchor on that value as that car goes by. That put an anchor on that value of like, okay, 100 is very big, and I sort of think 100 is actually too big, especially for the way that the story has devolved into places are more like villages than they are actual cities. So,
we're discovering more about the Outcast region as we go.
Exactly.
It's kind of the big answer there, where like even Anirudh doesn't have all the answers, and we're constantly discovering things, and if it means we have to retrofit something to make two contradictory facts work together, we do that. We do that,
Yep.
And we move.
So a little secret, I might have mentioned this previously, but a lot of the callbacks that happen in episodes happen because of my editing style. I don't edit episodes immediately after we record them. I edit them weeks, if not months later. So as I'm re-listening to old episodes, I can take random facts from them and bring them into newer episodes. So a lot of the and that's sort of because of the story style that we have. So while it looks really cool for me to be like, hey, the GM remembered this random fact from way back when that plays a role now. So like the when the character pops back in again from way back when, I guess Snow would be a good example of just a character that for all intents and purposes was like a one-off character. Even when the relationship was established, Snow could have kind of just gone off, but then Snow comes back. And whether Ralph goes to Snow, as it was in the Arc 2 solo episode, I believe, and they have a little hangout session, that's just bringing it back because and through some points that were brought in from previous episodes as well. So it's kind of this like there's two different storylines going on. There's the actual storyline that we have where we're making things up on the spot, and then there's the edited storyline, which is sort of offset, and as a result there's a lot of facts correlated. So almost you could theoretically, if you went back and searched really carefully, sort of align when episodes are edited and come out as opposed to when we record them, because you'll sort of see as they go ahead this secondary timeline of underneath facts that correlate with each other in the initial episodic go through. So fun thing if you want to do that very complicated thing, but you could. Next question, unless either of you guys have any more points to bring up with the parent relationship.
Good enough for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, like we've said all we know, so
Awesome.
which is nothing.
Pure Glaceon is a question that actually is an interesting question. What happened to Kyle's stutter? In the early episodes of Arc Zero, Kyle has a heavy stutter, but in the recent episodes, it's not even present.
Yeah, there was definitely some speculation in the Discord about this, and a lot of speculation was kind of spot on. Part of it is playing a character with a stutter is hard, and so I think just naturally as we started progressing the story, and both like Kyle's focus and my focus got more towards getting things moving, the stutter kind of waned. But also, I mean, we've seen over the course of the show that Kyle's become a much more confident character too. So that definitely has a role to do with it. I do try to remember it on occasion in situations where Kyle would be a little nervous, but it's not so much a stutter anymore as much as it is like a hesitance, I guess. I have no clue if that's like a satisfactory answer to the question, but that's kind of what's happened. The TLDR is I am lazy.
Cool. Next question on the Discord from let's see. Okay, yeah. Next question from Kane. Kane tossed this in the Discord a couple of weeks ago. Do Ralph and Kyle think there is an imposter in the guild? I'll let you finish off your movement.
Yeah, no, sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Sitting on the floor for long stretches of time is less than ideal.
I'll sort of manipulate this question a little bit. So does Ralph? It's sort of just an update on the imposter thing, the spy sort of thing that has sort of been weighing well above everybody, like who this spy is and what their spy is. Do you guys have any updates on that? Do you have anyone that you've thought of over the 3.5 arcs that you have narrowed down? Like, this guy's probably the spy, or this guy's definitely not the spy. Or do you think we haven't introduced them?
I mean,
Go for it.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, we can only really say kind of based off of what we know and what our characters know. As far as Kyle knows, I think Kyle is at a point where he trusts most of the recruits that he's met so far. There are definitely some like Aaron, like Isaac, that he hasn't like built a proper relationship with yet. So like if you were to, put Kyle on the spot and say who is the mole, like you've met the mole, who is it? You'd probably throw one of those out. But Kyle definitely doesn't think we've that we've met the mole just yet.
I don't think Ralph thinks that that. I don't know if Ralph is intelligent enough to even begin to suss out who the mole is. Have we actually been told that we've met the mole already?
No.
Nope.
Oh no, we haven't. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that would if we've been told, I think there would no longer be a question.
Right.
Hi, I'm the mole.
I think Ralph was initially suspicious of Pearl when he first met her because I was like, she seems too nice.
I do remember this, yeah.
But there's no evidence to suggest that she actually is the mole, so don't know.
Yeah, as far as like us as players, I don't know about you. I feel like my gut tells me that we probably have and just have not sussed it out, because the existence of a mole was known before we started gathering up the recruits. So it either has to be one of the original three or someone we have not met yet, and everyone we've met so far has been like, oh wow, okay, oh, this is like a call to action, like I didn't know this was gonna happen. So
cool. Let's see. Oh, I think there's a slight echo on someone.
Yeah, there's an echo. I can hear it.
Is that coming
I think it might be on your end.
Well, an echo as in when I speak, because
no, I can hear myself right now.
Yeah, I also heard. Well, now Anirudh just sounds normal. But...
Okay, it's gone.
Okay, weird.
Let's see. What do we got here?
Could fix the echo in post.
Great, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, I think it's gone already.
Yeah. Future Anirudh, before the next question, or before you ask the next question, current Anirudh, future Anirudh, go ahead and in here just throw in some weird echoey effect on the voices during that whole interaction. Yeah, thanks. I know that's not good.
I actually know how to do that.
You know how to do it. You probably won't, but it's not worth doing, but it's worth a shot.
While I scroll through this, are there any updates on the chat questions?
Yes, there is one question here in the chat from Rigel864. So what is the biggest thing you had to improv? Did you ever have to make a city pop into existence during sessions?
Ooh, what is the biggest thing that I improv'd?
Oh?
I mean, that wasn't...
No, that's... I'm just messing around. That's probably not the biggest thing.
Story-wise, it's played one of the most significant roles, but I think that might be because of how early on it was. That it sort of shifted Arc 1 and parts of Arc 2. So you could, from that perspective, I could see that. I think if we're looking more on you guys took a left and now you have this thing. Oh gosh, how do I do this thing? Ooh, I'm trying to go through like the storyline in general. I'm trying to think of when did the show get away from me the most, because that's probably the time where the biggest thing happened. Like Arc
Yeah.
Zero, that was pretty set in stone. That was mostly planned. Even when things went haywire, that's still like I have a general idea of what's going on here. When would it be?
Can
If you
I
guys
throw
have any
out?
ideas.
Can
Yeah,
I
go
throw
for
out
it.
a couple guesses and
Go for it.
see if any of these resonate with you? I think some big wrenches we kind of threw at you. This is backwards chronologically. During the whole delivery arc with the ghost, I think you were kind of nudging us in the direction of the town, and we just, or in general, like that whole arc, there was a lot of things that you kind of threw out that I kind of just shut down.
I can see that.
Not so much throwing a wrench,
yeah.
so much as just like kind of diverting plans.
I can see that. To be perfectly honest, for most of that journey, I think I, rather than planning anything out, just kind of said, here are 3 options, whichever one you choose, we'll see what happens. So I had just as much idea what would happen if you went into the city as you did going into a forest or just sleeping on the road. So that one not too much, in that I didn't have a plan to begin with. So
Okay.
at least for that.
Yeah, my other big guess was, I forget if this was this Arc 2 or Arc 3, the Regigigas encounter. This was Arc 2.
3.
No, it was Arc 3.
Arc
It was
3.
Arc 3
That's
because
halfway
we
through
went from
Arc
the
It was
ice
Arc
wall.
3, yes, because we were sent to the
Yeah. I think the entire way that was handled might have been one as well. Considering we chose to poof out of existence and then have Regigigas pop us in at a location of our choosing. Although it might have been a similar situation where you just kind of had, options open and just let things play out.
I know. I think I know what it is, at least the most recent thing. I think if I had to choose an answer, it would probably be... If I had to choose an answer for which one was the most improvious thing, it's basically the Snow relationship in general, because that completely shifted how important that particular NPC character was, and that sort of played a role in Arc 1 or 2.
It shifted the tone of the...
Yeah, but more recently, what am I thinking of? The dream that Kyle has. The big dream that Kyle has when heading back from the island to begin the ghost adventure. That entire dream, I don't think I really had a plan going into that, and then I just made up this thing that plays a significant role in the mentality of Kyle for the rest of Arc 3. Like, that's on the back of your mind. Even if you, I don't think you say it a lot, but you mentioned a lot, like, after episodes, before episodes, just kind of like, how does this loop in, sort of having that in the back of your mind. And whether or not that plays a role in the future is up for question. I mean, it probably, I don't know. But I feel like that entire segment was... I didn't plan that going in. Coming out, I thought it was like, okay, this is a time bomb right here that can either be fantastic or terrible, depending on how it goes. And we'll see what happens with that when the future comes in. But chaos. That might be the most recent thing.
Yeah, we there's definitely been a lot of like small ones like along the way. That was definitely like a major one in terms of like we've like really taken a hard left here.
Another one, actually, this sort of builds into the next question that I have here on the Discord. Will Kyle and Ralph ever go back to being civil with each other, or does Kyle plan to start dipping into chaotic alignment with the constant messing of Ralph's feelings? This was after the end of Arc 3, but that is sort of like a thing that comes and goes every now and then.
Yeah.
The point in Arc 2 where you guys almost separate after the whole house thing, that threw me for a loop, because
we almost upended your show.
I very much had everything planned out where, like, okay, no matter what happens at the end of the day, these two will be by each other's side, even if they don't necessarily agree with each other or like each other all that much. But then out of nowhere, it's like, nope, there's a shift here. Oh,
now they're not talking to each other.
Now they're not talking to each other. And I'm like, I can do a lot of internal monologues, but I feel like that kind of things up.
No, I definitely made life harder for you than it needed to be. Absolutely.
It was definitely fun, but chaos.
Yeah.
In the immediate moment. But anyway, and to answer the question itself, does Kyle plan to let bygones be bygones, or constantly do what does Kira say? Plan to start dipping into chaotic alignment.
Well, in terms of the second half of that, I think Kyle isn't very intentionally messing with Ralph emotionally. I don't think it's an intentional thing on Kyle's part. He's definitely conscious of the fact that Ralph is a more emotional character, but at the end of the day, that's not something that Kyle's very intentional about, very on point about. In terms of will our two protagonists ever be civil with each other? It's definitely in the realm of possibility. I'd say it's more likely than not.
I agree.
But it's almost certain that's going to be the case. But I mean, I at the beginning of the show, I couldn't have told you that they would not be on speaking terms. So it all depends how things play out. But I don't think Kyle actively wants to just burn that bridge.
Cool. There's a question in the chat for Anirudh, and then one I think for me. So the first one from Pure Glacian. What is the earliest recorded time the recruits have been mentioned / when were they founded?
I'm assuming this means chronologically and not in the podcast.
I do not know.
Yeah, Pure Glacian, could you clarify exactly what you mean with that question? Because depending on what exactly you're referring to, that may change the answer itself. So let's put a pin on that question real quick, if you want to go to the next one.
We'll go to the one for me. Would Ralph try to show Manaphy to Snow so that she fulfills the criteria to get into the recruits of the Lost? Sorry, it was misspelling.
I never even thought of that one. Whoa.
That's a brilliant concept.
Oh, no, why'd you give him ideas? Why'd you give him ideas?
Wait, did I miss something? Does showing Manaphy to somebody get them into the recruits of the Lost?
Well, so by
wait, no, because I have to see a legendary. Oh,
yeah. So by definition, they have to see a legendary Pokemon and then be chosen.
Okay, first, I don't think Ralph has the brain capacity to understand that 200 IQ move. Second of all, I think
Anirudh, I don't know about you. I don't think any of us thought of that one.
Yeah, no, that's actually really clever.
All right, so here's the one thing that gets in the way of that is that we haven't established exactly how that works, because the way that we sort of described it is that people and the legendary Pokemon just meet up, and then now all of a sudden that person has magical powers. So theoretically speaking, the Haunter saw Manaphy. Does this mean the Haunter is now a member of the Recruits of the Lost? We have to establish that a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of the implications of that. Oh no.
Because there's been quite a few characters. I know the Haunter has. I'm
Didn't
fairly
HD
certain,
and Kirk also see?
I'm
Manaphy?
fairly certain HD and Kirk, at least one of them, has seen Manaphy, if not both of them.
Right.
And then also we have to establish as well that I've sort of been preventing this from happening through plot. But can a legendary Pokemon bestow this power on multiple Pokemon? Can there be two Pokemon that have seen Articuno, and as a result, now they're both Recruits of the Lost? Or is it one for one, this one blesses you, and now you're good until you pass away or you decide no longer to be? I don't know how exactly
You
that works.
retire or
You
whatever,
retire, yeah. And then you just
yeah,
forget the legendary Pokemon.
Is there a limit on the number of recruits at one time?
Exactly.
The other much larger question is just when is Ralph even gonna see Snow again? It is not.
That's
happened.
the important question. Okay, you know what? Fine.
No. But for real though,
the fate of the world is in the balance. But
no, I mean specifically relating to this question. Question, you can't even begin to think about what Ralph is gonna do. When he sees Snow again, how is it? It's a question of if he's gonna see Snow again. Because when was the last time they were even together? It was at the end of Arc 2. Yeah, they haven't seen each other for an arc.
It might have been before. I know you. Hold up. I know that you saw each other at the solo episode for Arc 2.
Yeah.
Because that was the entire thing was based on you two hanging out together, and then shenanigans ensue
Right,
while
so
you're
it's
doing your
an arc and a
dojo
half.
meeting. I don't recall if you've seen Snow since then.
No,
I don't
only
think
heard
so.
about her, and that's it. Yeah, no, that's it.
So
And the correspondence
No,
has been lacking.
very minimal. So yeah, we have no idea what the future holds for them, or if this relationship is even sustainable. But we'll see. Another question. So actually, Pure Glacian clarified. like what year were they founded, or when are they first historically noted? So my guess is like in game.
Yeah,
Okay, in
chronologically.
universe, I don't have specific dates in mind, but I do have a general idea of the order, at least, of when they're found. Now, granted, most of them are founded in your time, like during the show, because you're the ones finding most of them. So those are in order from when you see them. Because I don't think any of the NPCs have found a recruit, have they?
Not that we've seen so far. At
Okay.
the meetings we've had where all the recruits are together, it's basically the ones that Kyle and Ralph have found.
Yeah. So looking through this, I believe initially it was Adam, Quagmire, and Isaac. Correct? I don't think there was anyone else founded.
Yeah, no. Initially, it was
at
those
the beginning.
three.
It was just those three. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then-
Story-wise, that is the order that I have it in. Adam was first, because he has this connection with Mew, effectively. So Mew's kind of like, hey, world's in danger. Arise, my soldier, and go find some people. So I assume Adam found Quagmire. I think Quagmire found Isaac. Quagmire and Isaac found you guys, technically speaking.
Yep.
And then go from there.
So we can make a whole recruit tree.
Basically, right now this is a coaching tree type thing of like, Adam hasn't done a lot of stuff, but his tree is like a bigger tree. So
Yeah. No, that's not at all how I thought it was. I thought the recruits were like, a historical presence, but apparently they're new.
well, so they come and go, I think, based on the world being over type of situation. The way that I sort of thought of it is that there are recruits. So if we flash forward, assuming you guys survive this adventure and everything goes hunky dory, 150 years from now, all of the generation of Pokemon right now have passed away, because I'm going to say that. We're going to assume that these guys live human lives. So 150 years from now, there are still recruits, but they don't know they are because they don't know they are, if you know what I mean. So like if the world is in danger, they can be activated, sort of thing.
I thought, and I might have just been mistaken, I thought it was like, every recruit knows that they are a recruit, but just doesn't know any of the others. And they only find out the identities of the rest and come together when, there is a crisis.
So, yes and no, I think. Because, so it's weird, because it's almost like
every
you don't
recruit
realize...
we've met knows that they are a recruit.
So, okay, so the way that this is, in weird Pokemon magic, I have it that basically they don't know they're a recruit until they're told a recruit, or they're told they are a recruit, and once they are told, things just click, if you know what I mean. Like, magically, everything makes sense.
The psychic link is established.
Yeah, some weird mystical thing that, frankly, I don't want to get into because I don't understand it myself. But it's almost, I'm just weird, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm a recruit. Now I know exactly what that means because of A, B, C, D, Elemental P.
Wow, this makes the recruits sound a lot more sus than they already sounded. Nice. Okay. Cool. We might be the bad guys. Anyways.
Are we the bad guys?
I remember this from
I
think Arc 1 Q&A, maybe. That the idea of like you guys being the bad guys, I have not ruled that out. Like that's still available on the table, if not already on the table.
Right.
Yeah. No.
There are a couple comments in the chat that I think are just golden. One of them from Roger says, "I mean, at the pace of gathering the artifacts, the guys can save the world 3 times over, so Ralph should get some time for personal relationships."
That is true.
Oh, buddy.
Absolutely not. Never.
Oh, buddy, are you in for a ride? But okay, that's not a spoiler. And then Pure Glaceon says, "Okay, I thought the recruits may have been a thing before the whole Under the World stuff. I thought there were historical presence too." There's another question. Oh, there's another question that I skipped over because the first question was start. Eli B2 asks, "How did you feel when Ralph just straight up fooled the ghosts into thinking they had the wrong people?"
That might have been the greatest moment of the show, honestly. One of the most like, bro, I got this. Like,
we haven't had many of those just incredulous moments, so that was definitely one that like all of us were just like, wow, we love this role. This is great. Let's move.
Yep. It was like, for me as the person who did that, like as the player, it was a great feeling. Because I am a big fiend for like, in role playing games where a player like thinks super out of the box and like just resorts to whatever creative hijinkery they can think of, right? That's like very unorthodox. So instead of, because like in a lot of TTRPGs, I think it's very easy for like players to get into this like rhythm of like, all right, we go to this area, we fight and kill everything, or we fight everything, and then like we defeat them, and then we move on, and figure out what the next bit of story is, yada yada yada. And then like when those players are presented with challenges, it's just like, all right, we either fight or we run, and like that's kind of it. I love it when player characters sort of like do something that's completely unexpected, like, oh, let's just lie to them and say that they got the wrong guy. And so when I myself have not done that very often as a player. Like I too am guilty of just like, all right, we go here, we fight, we keep going. So like being able to actually break out of that for a second and like actually do something that's kind of crazy and it kind of worked. It's super fun for me. Like I had a great time with that. Yeah, because that's like the difference between like a TTRPG and like a video game. Like a video game, I mean, most video games, you don't really have the option of just being like, oh, let me just do something else completely. Like,
well, because
with the TTRPG, anything is on the table. Literally anything is on the table. If the ghost is chasing, you could like take your pants off and run away. Like, does it make sense to do that? No, but you could, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. As the GM of that, it was one of those. There's a few of those moments throughout the show of those. I guess you could do that, and then we see how it goes, and it works out well beyond my expectations. That was clearly one of those moments. Even in the grand scheme of things, it didn't change things too much, but just that moment of like, oh, my bad. I guess you're not the main guys I'm looking for. I'm sorry. I'm just a regular thief, so I still have to do this job. But now I sort of feel bad for thinking that you were someone that you're not, even though you are. One of those things. I don't know. Story, roleplay wise, I thought it was hilarious. Plot wise, it doesn't really make much of a difference, but roleplay wise, it was like wonderful.
Yeah. Don't you tell tales The Walking Dead me where like it doesn't really matter what you pick in the end because like the same thing will happen to that character or whatever.
I forget. Did you? And you may not remember this. Did you do? Was it a roll off or was it just roll your persuasion or something?
For what? Oh, for like the lying to.
For the lying.
I think that might have been head to head.
It was a head.
I think I rolled for deception and he rolled for insight.
Okay.
He
did
then really badly.
I think.
Yeah, it was like two extreme rolls.
Yeah, I think if you had gotten a nat 20, I would have just had them like leave.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm so sorry. It appears I've had the wrong house. I mean, if anyone gets that reference, I'll be very happy.
Any more questions in the chat?
I will say in this lull while he looks, I'm only available for another half hour. So.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we'll be done before then.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I don't see any. Someone named Luxor243 just made a comment saying recruits are high-class sleeper agents.
Effectively.
Pure Glacian says A, B, C, D, L, M, N, O, P. Do you know your alphabet?
I do not.
Bad.
Yeah, words and phrases are hard. Speaking of Luxor had a question put into the Discord. For the Q&A, the recruits of the Lost Badges changed to show what guild Ralph and Kyle are currently in. For other members of the actual guilds, are they given a blank badge that changes to their guild when they choose one? If not, do the guild masters get suspicious when Ralph and Kyle already have that guild's badge without being given it? That is a bot, so please get out of here. I don't like you.
Yeah, I can kind of start answering this because there are a few things that we have established that kind of answer this. So Ralph and Kyle's whole cover story is basically they are in this like exchange program. That's their cover story. And because it's introduced by basically all of the guild masters, they're part of like, the guild masters like association or the guild masters committee or whatever we called it.
The GMA, the GMC.
Something like that. And Adam either is former president or current president of that committee. And so he just says, hey, this is happening. Everyone's like, cool. Okay. So when they rock up and they have the badge already, like it's already kind of accounted for. I assume that for just normal guild members, they just get, a standard non-changing. It's not blank. It already has all their things filled out for their specific guild because why would they ever move? I assume that's the case, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I believe I don't actually remember. I think Snow was sent her badge because
Yes.
she was in the same testing thing that you guys were in, like that same time frame. So I assume that's probably how it is. It would be once they accept you, they're like, all right, we'll send your badge in the mail. Come to our place and at X time and da da da.
Yeah, and there was I do remember there was an exchange when we did first meet Snow of like, wait, so y'all, oh, your process was weird. Oh, okay, well, let's go, I guess. We could go back and I think revisiting that might clear up also like the differences between or how like normal guild recruitment operations go.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna continue scrolling through here.
Pure Glacion asks, is Sfeel, I assume that means snow, is she from Thunder Tree?
She is not. She's from
New Birch, I believe.
New Birch, right?
Yeah,
The big city.
New Birch City.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you actually meet her in that episode.
Because her pops is a baseball player, and her mom is an artist.
Yep.
And they live in that.
Her mom is Paint.
Her mom is Paint. Her mom is Microsoft Paint. No, yeah, we were at her house. We were at her big mansion of a house,
Which is,
Jeeves.
I believe, in the city proper.
Yeah, it's in the city, I think.
I don't remember if we established if it's in the city or on the edge of the city or in a surrounding town or its own kind of compound, but
no, I think we just kind of said, all right, let's go to your house. Flash forward to you're at your house.
yeah, it turns out it's a mansion, but yeah.
Let's see. We answered that one. The train bombing thing, yeah. Eli said earlier today, what was the significance of the train bombing in Arc 1? You've mentioned it a couple times and refused to say anything about it. That is correct. I refuse to say anything about it. Since Mansour wanted some more personal question, here's one. What color is your toothbrush?
Green and white.
You got a plastic toothbrush.
Yeah, no, I'm basic. What do I need an electric toothbrush for? I can just vibrate with my hand.
That's true, by definition.
Yeah, no, that is totally fair. I have an electric toothbrush. I have a metal toothbrush, so it's I don't know if it's advertised as gray or silver, but it's that color.
I think my electric toothbrush is purple and white.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Fancy. I don't know why I say I think. I don't know what color my toothbrush is, guys. Kira asks, how are you guys? I'm doing well. I'm doing alright. Things are cool. How are you guys?
You go
I'm
ahead.
still jet lagged, but
That's true. You did
story
travel relatively recently.
yeah.
Yeah. I have just finished 3 weeks of basically the most intense 3 weeks that my on-campus job requires of me. So if it's any indication, I ate breakfast an hour ago. So
That's not breakfast. That's dinner at this point.
at lunch, but yeah, I woke up very late, and yeah, this is my first day of not really having to be everywhere at once, and my phone is not blowing up constantly. So
How is it that I am 3 time zones ahead of you and still started my day before you? Or 3 time zones behind, or whatever the direction.
because I've been exhausted for the past 3 weeks in a row, and last night was my big sleep.
The big.
Honestly, the feeling the way I feel right now is very much I've never run a marathon because I'm a potato, but I imagine it's what it feels like after you run a marathon, where you're exhausted, you just collapse on the ground, but you feel so happy and accomplished. Is that kind of feeling?
See, you say this like your job is done. Your job is literally just getting started.
Oh, it's not done, but the most intense part of it, I think.
We've had the conversation about
I know
the expectations, but yeah.
the sprint, the 3 week sprint is over, and the marathon will begin in 2 days.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Okay, Pure Glacion has a question. Ooh, I know what everyone wants to know, but maybe too personal. Feel free to ignore this one. What was the big thing that caused me to be inactive for 2 months? Okay. It's not nearly as I don't know what the right word is.
Exciting, dramatic.
Dramatic, probably.
Yeah.
In my real job, I had a certification exams that I had to take, and I just kind of sat down and practiced and did those. They're not done actually. I have another one next week, this coming Friday. But I'm confident enough that I can get back.
Yeah,
to
the lion's share of the studying and the review is done for you now.
The first exam is much more complicated than the second one, in my opinion at least, which is why I had to actually push everything away, because the second one is sort of building off the first one. So once you got the first one down, the second one's pretty easy.
Gotcha.
But that's it. And then that A couple of other things too. I think a break was needed for me at least, because just not burnout necessarily, but kind of just like the stagnation of like, I need to stop this for a second, and the exams was a good reason to do so. So
well, also I think just especially because like like you kind of had the same routine going for a while, and then like life changes happen, and it's like
exactly, yeah.
Taking a second to pause and adjust is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I am back now. I am mostly healed from the scars of the exam. But yeah, all is pretty good right now. Honestly speaking, I was planning it for it to just be July, and then it spilled into August, and then I kind of just continued it from that point. Uploading the last 2 episodes of Arc 3. I already forgot what arc it was. Uploading the last 2 episodes of Arc 3 was kind of just like, okay, I'm still here, I'm still alive, but I'm gonna throw this here and then go back to a break real quick. So that was the case there. But I am good now. Most important question of all, Eli asks, which is better, pancakes or waffles?
Oh God, why are you making me pick between my 2 favorite children? Why?
It's waffles. Why? Easy.
I gotta go with waffles. I'm more of a waffle guy than pancake. I feel like pancakes are too heavy, and I am, in general, not a big fan of heavy foods. So.
Okay, but have you ever had like a nice fully loaded Belgian waffle?
If I had nothing
that's
to do,
heavy.
Yes,
that's heavy.
Yeah.
See, that's what the reason why I pick waffles is just because like you can like customize it to your heart's content. Like you can have like 1 square with honey and like 1 square filled with like Nutella and 1 square filled with like chocolate syrup or whatever. Like you can
just have a stack of you could have a bunch of stacks of very small pancakes and accomplish the exact same thing.
But the thing is, like, if you try to mix things together, like, it just kind of, like, with pancakes, it gets, like, it'll, you can't really compartmentalize it like you can with a waffle.
No, but I'm saying, like, no, what I'm saying is, like, take, like, those, like, takeout containers that have the sections, right? Like, imagine you have something like that, where you have multiple plates, and you just have a stack of small pancakes on each, and now you have your customization.
Feels more complicated than it needs to be. That's why I like waffles more.
And you know what else is complicated? Customizing each individual square of a waffle. There we go.
No, you literally just take like whatever bottle, like whatever containers. You just like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Boom, bang, boom. Like, all right.
Notice how many little bits you said.
I think you know your answer. You just don't want to admit what your answer is. But I'm choosing waffle.
No. I love both. I think it depends on the mood I'm in. Also, like, I will take like a solid, like a real, like, like full like waffle over like pancakes, but I will probably take pancakes over like Eggo waffles.
I think also partially what I like more about waffles is that, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've like been, if you go to like a carnival or a fair or even like in New York City in some parts of it, like you can buy waffles like from like a cart or like a stand, right? I've never seen like a pancake stand or like a pancake.
Well, because a pancake is a sit-down food. It's not like a snack. You could have a waffle as a snack. You can't have a pancake as a snack. Actually, that's a lie. I have had pancakes as snacks.
You could also like waffles can also be a sit-down food if you want it to be.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. No, waffles are definitely more versatile.
Exactly. So then maybe that's why
waffles are definitely more versatile.
You
but
can,
like, if you make yourself some good pancakes,
that's true. No, I'm not dissing pancakes. I just think waffles are more suited for general applications, and I personally have not had waffles in a long time, so there's a lot of nostalgia there.
And you are very hungry, as we have seen throughout.
I'm living off of Belvita's crackers or biscuits right now.
I have to agree with Rigel. This Q&A apparently has an overarching theme of food. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very hungry.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. No, I'm at the second we hop off, I am going straight to the pantry and putting something together because my appetite has definitely been whet.
That's all the questions we have on the Discord. I'm scrolling through the chat. It doesn't seem like there's any more questions. It's just Eli complaining about the fact that
a lot of really nice, just a lot of really nice comments.
Train bombing.
Oh, now there's 2 questions. One, how do you make the perfect cake?
You buy it.
You buy it. Honestly, kind of, yeah.
I'll have an answer for you in like a year or so once I'm settled to my place and I've actually gotten to bake a little bit.
I've baked. I think I've baked a cake once in my life or twice in my life, but I made cheesecake not too long ago, and I actually really liked doing that. It's a very long process to make cheesecake, but
Yeah, no, cheesecake is definitely very intensive as far as baked goods go.
Yeah, but it's delicious. And then question from Rigel. So since it will be fitting, do you like rucola? I do not know what rucola is. Rucola.
Cola. This might not be a thing we have in America, maybe.
People are saying that
It looks like it's a
well,
sort of-
Google says it's an Italian restaurant in Brooklyn, but I don't think that's what this is referring to. Rucola food?
Bruschetta? Animal plant. Are we talking the plant? Or.
Maybe? I look up rucola and a lot of it usually...
Is it like a salad?
Arugula shows up a lot. Maybe rucola is just the Italian.
I've heard of bruschetta. Rucola, arugula. Not arugula, just arugula. I know what this is. I just probably.
I think
looking at it, it looks like it's like a garnish added to salads,
Pizza.
pizzas.
Looks pretty good.
It looks like a leaf.
TBD. We'll find
not
out.
sure. Not sure if we're answering the right question, Rigel. Let us know.
Another question from Jab0055. What is your favorite sandwich?
Gosh.
Wait. Loop me back to the last thing real quick because I just found something. I think rucola is just arugula. I think it's just different words for the same thing.
Okay. In that case, arugula salad plant. That's my ranking for it. What's your favorite sandwich? Yeah, arugula. Yeah, okay. I do know what that is. Solid garnish. What's your favorite sandwich?
It depends on the mood, because you got options,
It
right?
really do depend on the
Like,
mood, yeah.
like if we're talking, it also depends on the type of sandwich. If I'm taking like 2 slices of bread and I want something good in between them, grilled cheese is always a good option, or like a solid like turkey sandwich always hits. If we're talking like a sub, give me like a solid like grilled chicken sub, or like a chicken parmesan sub. That hits. That absolutely hits. If we're talking a hot dog, whether or not it's a sandwich is up for debate, and I don't even like them anyways.
Taco. Anyway, keep going.
Wait, what? No.
A hot dog is a taco. Yes.
No.
According to the cube rule, a hot dog is a taco.
Look. I've let you die on like a lot of questionable hills before, but you cannot be saying this seriously.
I am saying this. I will put this in the chat. There's a website. It's called, I think, the Cube Rule. It is a system. It is a system.
If you want to classify hot dogs and tacos under one umbrella, sure, but that umbrella is not taco.
Listen, it is a system in which, like, if you were to take the food and think of it as a cube, and like which sides of the cube are like covered, you can identify anything from one of 6 categories. Either the food is toast, it's a sandwich, it's a taco, it's sushi, soup/salad or bread bowl, or a calzone, right? So, like, for example, toast is toast. Pizza is also toast. Sandwich is a sandwich where it's like, pizza's toast because it's one-sided. Anyway, pizza.
I see where you're going with this, in that there are labels listed for things, and that's not necessarily.
It's a very mathematical, like, just by visual.
Right, because by definition, like, cracker is also toast.
Yes, a cracker. Yes, exactly. A Ritz cracker would also be toast.
But you won't actually think of like, oh, I'm gonna get some toast and pull out like a bunch of Ritz.
Exactly. So like by this definition, a taco is when 3 adjacent sides of the cube are like breading, and then the rest of it's exposed. That would be a hot dog. So a hot dog would be a taco according to this classification system. You might not agree with the system, but it's there.
I think the system is not flawed. I think the semantics are flawed.
I think
a burrito would be considered sushi because it's wrapped on 4 sides and then the top and bottom are exposed.
But sushi aren't bread.
Depends.
I think the issue here is the labeling is very.
The semantics is garbage. The semantics is garbage.
You might not like it, but I like it. And then according to the system, a Pop-Tart is a calzone because it's covered on all 6 sides. But yeah.
Again, semantics are questionable. The system itself, in terms of classifying bread and filling based foods, is solid. But your semantics are wrong. If I ever hear you say, if we are ever in person, and like if we're ever together in person, and you say to my face, a hot dog is a taco, you will be slapped with no remorse.
All right, come over here so I can say it to your face. Square up.
All right, while these two fight about tacos.
But going back to the original question, my favorite sandwich. I personally love tuna melts. I love like tuna and cheese and like lettuce and tomato. I always put like mustard and mayo like together with the tuna melt. That always slaps for me. There is a specific sandwich that I have only had for a year in my life, and it was a specific sandwich that my college campus would serve, and it was called the High Nooner. Both of you might know what this is.
I have never had this.
You've never had the High Nooner? It's the
No.
best sandwich. Okay, basically it was a croissant, and then they cut the croissant in half, and they put grilled chicken in the croissant. They put chopped salad in there. It's like pepper and like what was the? It might have been onion. I don't remember what the white stuff was. I think it was onion, but maybe I'm wrong. It was like pepper and onion, and then they put like this aioli, which is basically just fancy mayo. They put that on there. Oh my god, it was so flaky. It was so nice. It was just had so much
Does sound
flavor.
pretty solid. Does sound
It was
pretty
really
solid, I'm not gonna lie.
And I have never.
You are
and the-
making me very hungry now.
I'm sorry, but yeah, and like like the sandwich got discontinued after my freshman year, and so I miss it dearly, and I don't think it's coming back, and so I have to just at some point just make it on my own and try to find the recipe or like recreate it, reverse engineer it.
I have exactly
it was really
one
good.
ingredient in my apartment right now for the High Nooner, and that is croissants.
Oh no, that's the first step. All right, I'm gonna. What else is there? What for questions?
A reminder for everyone else as well. We're going for about 5 to 10 minutes before calling it. So
Eli has a question
Yeah.
about the podcast instead of just
we
food.
should probably highlight those.
Okay, will we ever find out what was up with train bombing? If you won't tell us, at least tell us if we will find out eventually.
I feel like we've
All
answered this
pla-
question a couple times so far.
All
but
plans are in place for the reveal to happen during the show. With that said, if this show ends up taking place in space, I cannot guarantee that we will find out what happens with the train bomb. And knowing these guys, we might end up in space.
So there.
This is like very slight spoiler for like the beginning of Arc 4. But all I'm gonna say is the idea of the show occurring in space has gone from absolutely unfathomable to, it could.
It's possible. Deoxys wants to know your location.
Honestly, the more you guys talk about this, the more likely that space could happen. Especially if I find a solid plot point and reason for them to be in space. Bro, I'm sending them up there. I got a rocket on
short
my
answer-
desk right now. For those of you watching the Twitch right now, next to my Rubik's Cube is a rocket. I'm planning on shoving them a Chop and Trico up there and shooting them up to who knows where. So
Why would we need a rocket? Let's just get Rayquaza or something.
And in any case, the short answer is that there is a plan in place to reveal it at some point, but we don't.
You say
we
this
don't
like you
yet.
know the plan. You don't know the plan.
I know. I'm just interpreting. I'm interpreting what you just said.
You're literally just repeating the words.
Okay. Well.
that's his interpretation. Any more non-food related questions? Partly because I do want to keep this podcast related, and also, how do you make a perfect salad? It just sounds like a terrible question to ask. Not in terms of like it being a bad question, but because we will spend so much time on the difference between types of lettuce that Muhammad will not be able to.
Honestly,
so.
Yeah, like while I'm here, if we have any podcast questions, let's get those
briefly,
done.
But the key to making a good salad is honestly just
brother.
like add a little bit of vegetable oil, add a little bit of like salt, add a little bit of pepper, and it doesn't taste like you're eating like out of a ball. That's it. Question from Pure Glacian: what color is a fire hydrant?
Yellow. Next question.
Really?
Or red.
Where I'm from. Well, where I'm from, they're usually red, like classically, but I've seen like some black ones and like some silver ones and whatever, and they don't look like the traditional fire hydrant like shape. They're there.
Will you add some of the bootleg items to your story, stuff like orange berries? Ooh, that's an interesting concept. I don't actually know if that's in the system right now. So for both of you, in the Explorers of Sky games in particular, they have the regular items like Oren with an A berries, and that's the one that heals you. And there's Oren with an E that are supposed to like trick you into accidentally using them, and they have negative side effects for the most part. So I think this one does damage. Either that or decreases hunger or something along those lines. But that would be a cool thing. I think it would be confusing.
It would definitely be tough to do in a published system.
Yeah, because you can kind of just look at your item box and see, you know what? Or the biggest way is, how can the DM give them an orange berry keeping it above level while also implying that it's a bad one. Like I can't say,
Yeah, like
hey, put an oranberry in your system, spell it with an E, and it's like what?
Yeah, it's logistically it's tough to do, especially the way we do things. It's tough because like we have Google Sheets for our character sheets, and we all, or I guess we all can look at each other, all the character sheets for Kyle and Ralph. So it's tougher to implement.
Right. Yeah, and alternatively, I say, hey, you get an oranberry. Are you gonna heal yourself? Yeah, I heal myself eating both my oranberries. Great. The first one heals you. The second one does damage. What? Why? Like that just seems like out of nowhere. I would prefer, as much as possible, to keep things above table so that if you make a bad decision, I want you to know the reason why that decision happened, rather
And
than
it wasn't
saying
just a bad dice roll or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Like if it's a bad dice roll, at least I want to make sure you roll that die, right? As opposed to an
Yeah,
oranberry,
exactly.
it's hard to specify. Oh, this is an e berry, without explicitly saying it. And if I don't say it, then that just seems like okay. Well, the DM's kind of just hating, right? So
Yeah, an e-berry. It's like an e-card, but you're much more sad when you open it.
Oof.
That does seem like all of the questions we have. On top of that, we are slowly reaching our little time limit here. Thank you very much for checking this out. We appreciate all of you for joining us. I'm glad to see that Twitch is not as broken as possible. We can still have all our viewers and stuff. I'm gonna do a bunch of announcements and stuff like that that come off the top of my head. Feel free to stick around for those or not. This is also for the podcast as well if you're listening to this. What we have so far, I don't know what exactly our plan is for scheduling episodes and stuff like that. My guess is this Q&A comes out on Tuesday, but I'm hesitant on that. So we'll see what happens. If it's not this Tuesday, it's probably next Tuesday. And as for future recording episodes, I think once all of our timelines sort of fit back into place, which they probably will over the next couple of weeks, especially for me, particularly after the end of this coming week, my timeline just sort of clears up. So that's for me, and then I assume once Muhammad fixes everything up on his end and Mansour's life gets into a more consistent role, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Once you know what happens in the week that's coming up.
Yep.
Once that happens, we'll get back to it.
We do have a little bit of a cushion as far as our 4 episodes go, so I'm just gonna throw this out there. Obviously, I already get the final say on this, but I think once this Q&A is released and published, we can go back to our weekly episode. Minimal fear of not having an episode any given week.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least for the near future.
Right. On top of that as well, I'm still in works with the summary episodes for the remaining arcs. So that's a week right there. Just kind of keeping them clumped together so that people can always listen to those, as opposed to scrolling all the way down for arc 1s and then arc 0s and then scrolling all the way up for arc 1s. So keeping them all together, that'll be a thing as well. So arc 4 will come out eventually. Trying to see what else there is. As I mentioned, Patreon, with all of I said earlier in this episode, earlier in the stream, Patreon, because of the generous donations of Pure Glaceon, now we've unlocked a bunch of tiers, so all of those tiers eventually over the coming weeks, those will start getting uploaded. To what extent, we'll find out. But as I was saying in the update episode from the other day, my goal is for things to be somewhat back to normal by September double digits. So somewhere between September 10th and 20th.
Isn't that all of our goals, really? Sorry, carry on.
Very true. That is all our goals. So that's a thing as well. So that includes the YouTube channel, this Twitch, other podcasts, all that sort of stuff. Gonna start recording those, especially after this week wraps up, and then getting into uploading them as we get into that. So summary episodes as well. Thank you very much. The Not a Scratch history book. Did you know that's actually a thing? We have a few wonderful members of our Discord that have started constructing the history book. So this is more of a novelization of the story that we've done so far. So the last update I saw, I think, was somewhere into Arc 0, Episode 4 it was getting to. And rather than being like a TTRPG where they say, I rolled a 6, okay, great. It's more of this character does this particular action and the character doesn't, with a novel sort of appeal. So that is in production as well. Again, thank you very much to all of the members of that that group that's working on the history book for us. They were working on this while I was on my break, so I very much appreciate the fact that they decided to do that. Yeah, in the middle of Arc Zero. Arc Zero episode 1? I feel like you're ahead of that. I might be wrong though. Anyway, is there anything else that I'm missing, you guys, before we pop off?
Not that I can think of. I think you hit all the highlights. The big highlight is things are coming back.
Things are coming back. We're gonna be rusty, but you'll see it as well, especially in the Arc 4 episodes. Like, I think every episode we're like, hey, this episode it's been a while, and then the next one, it's been a while, and the next one, it's been a while, even though they come back.
Yeah. We'll get back to some level of consistency soon, hopefully.
Yep.
Knock on the fake wood on my floor.
All right, but that does wrap things up. I get to switch over now to my little ending screen here. Whoa. See you next time, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye. I'm waving even though you guys can't see me. See you guys. Thanks for popping in.
Adios.
And then for those of you that are listening on the podcast, thank you very much for watching and supporting the Adorn region. Not the Adorn region. Not a scratch. Thank you very much for watching. We hope that you've enjoyed. I have been your PM, your DM, your GM, Anirudh himself.
And I've been Mansour.
Oh, and I've been Mohammed. We're not playing characters today. Yeah, wow. Whoa.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, everyone, take care.